Right now, an absolutely massive weather story is unfolding across America. And look, we're not just talking about a simple storm here. We're talking about a story of ice, of snow, and a temperature crash so severe it's putting millions of people at risk. So let's get right into the heart of this, the Great Arctic Surge.
Just picture this for a second. What if one part of the country was about to get completely buried under almost 5 feet of snow? I mean, that's an amount that can paralyze, well, entire regions.
And then, at the exact same time, what if 100 million people, some of whom were just enjoying summer-like heat yesterday, were about to get hit with a jaw-dropping 40-degree temperature crash? We're talking literally overnight.
Yeah, this isn't some hypothetical scenario or a distant forecast. This is a powerful winter system that is sweeping across the United States as we speak. It's triggering alerts and sending these shock waves of Arctic air from coast to coast.
Okay, so to really understand what's going on, we have to start at the source, right? The epicenter of this whole thing, Alaska. This is ground zero.
Let's just talk about the scale for a minute. In some parts of the state, forecasters are calling for up to 58 inches of snow. That's nearly 5 feet. An absolutely incredible amount of snow that can collapse roofs, snap power lines, and just completely paralyze communities.
And, the National Weather Service, they are not holding back. We're seeing winter storm warnings active across these huge regions. They're talking wind gusts hitting 45 miles per hour, which you can imagine creates severe whiteout conditions, dropping visibility to almost nothing. For places like Kotlik and Scammon Bay, travel just becomes pretty much impossible.
And this is the warning that authorities are putting out there, and it is stark. It's a real reminder that in these conditions, a simple drive can turn into a life-or-death situation. Because if you get stranded, help might not be able to get to you in time.
So, you have to be asking, why is this happening? And why with such intensity, especially in April of all months? To answer that, we've got to look at the powerful science that's driving this Arctic surge.
Meteorologists actually have a term for this kind of event, and we're hearing it more and more. They call it weather whiplash. It's exactly what it sounds like, a sudden, violent shift from one extreme to another, in this case from near-record warmth to a brutal, freezing cold.
Now, this event didn't just come out of nowhere. Climate experts are pointing to a really key trigger. Alaska has just gone through its coldest winter in half a century. All season long, this massive reservoir of intensely cold Arctic air has been just building up, waiting.
So think of it like this. For months, you had a high-pressure system that acted like a locked freezer door, keeping all that record-breaking cold trapped over the Arctic. But now, the jet stream, that river of air high up in the atmosphere, has suddenly taken a huge dip to the south. And that dip has basically swung the freezer door wide open, unleashing that frigid air and sending it pouring down into the lower 48.
So yeah, this is no longer just an Alaskan story. That freezer door has been thrown open, and now we are all witnessing an unprecedented spread of Arctic cold across the entire nation.
The sheer scale of this is just staggering. We're talking about nearly 100 million Americans who are directly in the path of this cold front. That's almost a third of the country about to get hit with this dramatic weather whiplash.
And if you want to understand the shock of it, just look at Washington, D.C. Days ago, people were out in t-shirts, temperatures were hitting the 90s. Tomorrow, they're going to wake up to the 40s. That is a 40-degree thermal shock that just catches an entire city completely off guard.
And we really need to be clear about this. This is about so much more than just feeling a chill or having to go find a sweater. The true danger of a temperature crash like this is its speed. It creates this cascade of hidden threats. Well, when temperatures plummet this fast, roads that were perfectly safe can turn into sheets of ice in an instant. Farmers face devastating losses as their sensitive crops get wiped out. And the sudden demand for heating puts this immense stress on our power grids. But honestly, the biggest threat is just human nature. When record warmth tricks us into thinking it's summer, that sudden cold becomes way more dangerous. So as this whole event unfolds, it really forces us to step back and ask a much, much bigger question. What does a storm of this magnitude, of this strangeness, what does it really mean? I mean, when you connect the dots, from 5 feet of snow in a remote corner of Alaska, all the way to a cold wave impacting 100 million people right after a heat wave, you really start to see the full picture. This is such a powerful demonstration of how our weather systems are becoming more extreme, more unpredictable.
And that leaves us with the final and most crucial question. Is this great Arctic surge just another powerful random storm? Or Are we actually witnessing a clear symptom of a much more volatile and unstable climate? A chilling preview of what's to come.